Here now, Enrique Acevedo is a Univision news anchor. Enrique, good to have you here this evening. What do you think will happen when there is a showdown potentially at the border? You've heard how serious all of the Trump administration is about not letting these 600 people roughly cross.
Thanks for having me, Martha. As you pointed out, the caravan was never going to cross into the U.S. From the beginning, the plan was to reach the border and request asylum, and that is perfectly legal. Suggesting that this group of immigrants was going to drive across the border Mad Max style, as the president did, is simply not true. We're not facing a national security crisis. We're facing a humanitarian crisis.
I mean, one of the questions is why? You know, why does Mexico allow all of these people to come through Central America, through their country, and in some cases encourage them to keep going and cross the border, instructing them about the best ways to seek asylum? Does that seem right to you, given the fact that Mexico turns back tens of thousands of people and has very strict border law?
Well, like you say, Mexico is working on enforcing its law, its immigration law, on the south portion of its border. But I think the public here in the United States needs to recognize that the largest factor driving undocumented immigrants into the country is not a weak, unprotected border. These immigrants are very aware of the dangers they face, and still they choose to risk their lives to provide a better future for their family. We used to call that the American dream, and now Attorney General Jeff Sessions calls it an intent to overwhelm our legal system.
So you're confident that none of these people are going to try to cross the border?
Well, they've said that their intention is to reach the border and then request asylum. They're mostly women and young children. They're fleeing violence in their home countries, violence fueled in large part by drug consumption here in the U.S.
I think Americans are very sympathetic to their plight. It's a question of legal immigration and illegal immigration. I want to put up one more quote by Vicente Fox, who said in 2000 there were over 1.6 million arrests, and in 2017 only 300,000. See, Donald, fewer and fewer Mexicans and Latinos want to go to your country. The American dream is dead. You have killed it. And yet, you know, I guess the question is, why isn't Mexico more welcoming? Why isn't Mexico providing an economy and a safe environment that these people who come across your southern border wouldn't want to go there and stay there?
Well, if we're trying to use Mexico as a point of reference to what we should do in the U.S., I think we're using the wrong example. I don't think we want to compare any of our, decisions to what is taking place in Mexico, because Mexico treats those immigrants in the most horrible ways. And we've criticized that, and we pointed that out through history. I think we have to look at our own history and the way we've treated immigrants in the past, Martha. And this is just not consistent with that. If we turn our backs on these people, if we keep using them as scapegoats, we are abandoning the principles
Enrique, there are people from all over the world.
Great.
There are people from Eastern Europe. There are people who want to come to this country, and they have to go through a process in order to do it. And they are very upset that they have to go through the process, and yet coming across the southern border is supposed to be a different set of rules. What would you say to them?
Well, I went through that process, so I'm part of that group of people who got in line and requested to come into this country legally. And these are also people who are trying to do that. Like I said at the beginning, they are trying to reach the border and request asylum, and that is perfectly legal.
Enrique, thank you very much. Good to have you here tonight. We'll watch what happens in this border situation, which could be heating up. Good to see you tonight.